Hey, how we doing, man?
Good.
Good stuff. Okay. Looks like you spoke to Luca last time, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool, man. He left me some notes based upon your situation, what we're doing now, what we're trying to get to. So I'm gonna read these off, man. If anything gets lost in translation, just let me know. But I want to get right into it, man, because we have a limited amount of time. But he did mention you're owning like your own wedding event company.
Yes.
Okay, got you. The biggest thing you're struggling with is like being able to get your process on a more emotional level, like rather than logical.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just, I think I struggle with helping them make the decision while they're there during the tour.
Okay, and why do you feel like it's important for you to like help them make decisions while they're on that tour?
Well, I feel like in most cases, people walk away and, you get busy or anything like that. It's hard to, it's like you put the decision making off for most
Well, yeah.
people.
Do you know how it actually works, like a human decision making process, like in a brain? Like it ultimately works in a way. It's like going skydiving a little bit, right? So it's like what happens is they have that like kind of acceleration. They're at that door, like in the cockpit, ready to jump. It's like the longer it takes, the harder it becomes, right? Because what's going to happen is the thoughts are going to overcome their brain. Their logistical brain is going to start clicking. It's like, oh, I can find another one. I can find a cheaper one. I can do X, Y, Z, and they leave the call, right? And they leave, and then they stop thinking about you, and they let that fear overcome them, or that uncertainty overcome them. So the thing is really that why it's so important to close them normally at that event and kind of that place is because once they jump off that plane, it's like you've already got the decision making process done, right? So again, the longer it takes, the harder it becomes. But you did mention that you've been using the same scripts for the past 6 years. You're getting a lot of objections, which is the biggest issue. Like I need to think about it. I need to speak to my spouse, like those kind of things. And you've realized this 2 years ago. And we calculated numbers, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys were like doing some numbers of like how much income you felt like you've left on the table due to not having the right skills. And you guys came up with a number of 200,000. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. To me, I think like in the next few years, that would be like a really good, high point. And of course, there's growth from there, but it's like that's kind of my standard or like what I would consider, yeah.
But
I
you
mean,
feel like you've left this amount of like money on the table already, like just because you haven't had the right skills.
every time I feel like a couple walks away, especially because like lately I've had so many like tours. I feel like I get them almost to the point, I made the joke to my wife that won't make exactly the same joke, but it's like you feel like you have all the right things and then there still isn't the yes, right? It still is
Yeah.
like I want to look at other places, those things kind of like
Yeah.
we, you know.
Yeah. Well, 100%, man. Because I guess like for you knowing that you've left like over 200K on the table in the past just 2 years, how has that actually impacted you though, knowing that you've left that amount of money on the table?
I mean, it's something now that supports my family, so it's like every bit of opportunity is really important to capitalize on, and not to mention it's like if I'm spending all of this time working and not getting a return, I got to work more to get more return. It's, you
Yeah.
just like anyone, you want the most out of your time. And I think I give a lot of tours. And so I'm like, why the heck am I letting these people walk away when we've already basically figured out that like they could easily have a celebration here and that
Yeah.
so
Okay. Well, tell me this, man. Obviously, you mentioned something important, which is that you have a partner yourself. Now, when it comes to making a decision on investing in like advanced sales training to put yourself and her in a better position, is that something that is your decision, or is that something that is her decision, or kind of both of you together? Or how does that work?
yeah, I think it's something I've already talked with my family about, and because it is a family business, and ultimately we've all agreed that it is the right step to find, training. It's more so for me to make the final decision on what that training is and what I'm looking for,
Okay.
essentially. So
It's
yeah,
really at the end of the day, it's kind of your decision.
yeah.
Okay, cool, man. So I guess like what was the rationale then in like looking at some more advanced sales training from like Jeremy rather than like going out there on your own and just putting in more effort or getting more leads? Like, why not just go that route? What caused the field to get advanced sales training and the need to?
Well, I grew up in sports and I didn't do it alone. I had a coach. Um, so it's like, what's the difference with business is like you can reinvent the wheel or you can figure it all out yourself. Or you can go to the people that already know how to do it well.
Yeah.
And
Well,
yeah.
Luca mentioned something important, which you've kind of known about this issue for the past 2 years. So you haven't been like not knowing that you've had a problem. You've been very problem aware. And I appreciate you for being problem aware, but I guess like, have you actually invested in those 2 years in any advanced sales training to put yourself in a better position in your family?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I've always really loved learning. I've books, different things like that,
All right, maybe
workshops.
maybe you got to misconstrue like not like books or like seminars. I mean like something that's like actually active every single day, like advanced sales training consulting.
Like, you mean like working with another like business, you mean? Or
Yeah, like working with coaches, consultants, and getting that like consistent help rather than just a book. Because again, with a book, you have to read it over 10 times. The first time you only take in about 3% of what you're actually reading. So like something that's actually more knowledgeable where you're actually getting guidance from a coach.
no, never, not in business, not no.
What do you feel like has prevented you from doing so?
Well, because part of me felt like it was a numbers aspect that I needed more experience because I
Sure.
didn't have a lot of sales experience before
Yeah.
starting and working with the family business. And it was like I needed to try things, and it wasn't that I didn't go to resources, and I'm always a very resourceful person, so to speak.
Yeah.
But there's at some point you get to the point where you have to decide, like, okay, can I see myself keeping down this road, or like, do I just need to have some help? And so that's kind
Yeah.
of where I'm at. Is
Where
um,
did that way of thinking come from where you felt like you could do it on your own?
oh, there we are. Okay, sorry. Well, it's I mean, you're a man too. It's like we have that mentality, partially that it's like you wanna be capable and you want to
Yeah.
prove yourself, and it's not so much alone. If that, I mean, there's aspects about what I'm doing that I feel like I do alone, but we do it together. It's not like I'm alone in the business. So it's like I don't see that as like a lone
Maybe, maybe,
adventure.
maybe,
But yeah.
maybe, yeah, maybe the wording was wrong, right? But not alone. But what, like, where did that way of thinking come from? Where you didn't invest in like exterior training and exterior coaching to get the result?
Well, I think one, I didn't think that I felt ready,
Hmm.
because I think that I needed to be in a certain place in order to know that it was ready to take that next step, for one.
Hmm.
Because maybe it would have been good to invest from the very beginning, and again, maybe it always is, but for me, it felt like I wanted to invest in some other resources first, and then show that it's worth investing more. And that's kind of where I'm at now, where I feel like I'm still trying to figure out what that coaching aspect looks like, because a lot of times I totally understand in one capacity, if you have someone by your side, it's it would be a lot to invest, right? And that's where I've teetered between online courses or can be good, but it's like,
Yeah. Well, I guess can I share a suggestion? Because I had that exact same way of thinking like 2 years ago, right? When I first began. The thing is that like you're looking at it as a perspective where it's a lot of money. Where a lot of people look at it in a different perspective, where it's like money actually isn't even a problem. It's actually a symptom of the problem. Now, what I mean by that is if you had the skill set 2 years ago, what else would we have more of right now?
the
More money,
money.
right?
Yeah,
The thing is, like, I can help you with the investment, and we can all do. It's just we can't help with the commitment to be willing and wanting to change. Is that something you're committed to?
100%.
Because the thing is, man, that way of thinking where we've like prioritized the money rather than actually our skill set, where has that led us in the past 2 years?
I mean, it's not like I don't feel like there's been success, but again, it's like for what I'm doing, I feel like there should be more of a return, you
Of
know?
course, right? Because again, as we mentioned, you felt like you're missing 200K. So the thing is, man, like if we keep having this way of thinking where we feel like we either need 100% of knowledge or we're putting the investment over the actual skill set, what is going to continue to happen though?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of why I'm here on this phone call, because it's it's a matter of making a decision that I'm not, fully capable of doing it on my own in that sense. And it's like, or if I am, it's over a long span of time,
It's like, yeah, like anything. It's like you can go to the gym, you learn it by yourself. Of course, it'll take you about 2 years to really get to that version of yourself you want to become. You do it with a personal trainer, you get those results in 90 days. The question is, are you willing to buy that flight ticket or are you going to walk to LA? It's like, do you want to walk to LA or do you want to fly? We all have those options in life because it's never a choice. It's always a problem. The question is, at this moment in time, do you feel like you want to walk or do you feel like you want to fly?
No, it's a good question. I mean,
Because you
I
walking, it's not only just because you walking in your perspective isn't just you walking, just you waiting to get the results. You walking in your business is like you're missing out on revenue. Every single time you take a step, you're missing out on revenue that you could have been if you flew there to that destination.
right.
So how much longer do we want to keep leaving revenue on the table because we're deciding to walk rather than fly to our destination?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I guess it's just a matter of determining, how that coaching or what that looks like,
That's that's what we're here. That's what we're here for, right? To show
yeah.
you. The thing is, though, like now, are you ready for a change? Because again, like it always comes within that decision making process. I could show you everything that could be the absolute answer for you. I could show you the program that has gotten 33,000 of our students' results. The thing is that you have to decide whether you're actually going to take a step and move forward, regardless if it is the thing for you. If you're going to take a step and move forward towards getting to where you need to be, because I can't make that choice for you, unfortunately. Like you have to do that for yourself.
Yeah. No, and I definitely feel ready to move forward and to make a change
Okay.
and to figure out what that change looks like.
Okay. Well, tell me this, man. Like, I want to know from your perspective, what do you feel like you need in terms of like an advanced sales training program? Now, when I say what you need, I don't mean like, oh, what are you going to learn? That's what we teach people in the 33 other thousand testimonials we have. I mean, how do you learn a skill best naturally?
Typically, um it's sometimes nice to watch and not a ton, but at least a little, or to even interact in that sense and to practice. But then, for me, the implementation aspect of things and kind of, well, I guess I should say this, like, I feel like I don't have a good enough plan. Like I came up with a script, but I don't feel like I have a good enough plan. And
Yeah.
so once I feel like I can come up with a good plan, like that's going to take more legwork. But then once I have the plan, I feel like I would need someone there to check in with consistently, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
well,
Because
I
it,
think it comes with planning, then executing. It's like you go to the gym, you can't get the results if you don't have the right form, right? If
yeah,
you're not doing the form in the bench press, same exact thing. The thing is that it's about getting that practice to get the right form, right? Getting that guidance to know how to do the right form. The thing is for you though, like moving forward, the things with businesses, like you never do the same things from 0 to 10, from 10 to 100, and 100 to a million. They always do different things. So for you, not only do you have to start doing things differently, you really have to start kind of becoming a new person. Really, like you being able though, Trace, like to become the version of yourself who not only has made this business successful, the one who's been able to have the financial freedom that he's always wanted to for himself and his family, and done the things that he's always wanted to. What would that do for you personally, like achieving that goal though?
yeah. I mean, there's always more. Obviously, once you get to a certain point, it's never enough. But I think for me, that it is important to be able to take care of my family and to show that to myself and to my family that running a business is something that is beneficial for us and the people around us. I mean, money, like, here's the thing, really really quick, is like money is important up to a certain point,
Yeah,
and I think I've been fortunate and blessed enough in my life to not have to have money be the forefront. And for
yeah.
me, growth and time management and what I get out of my time, and like those are the things I'm really focused on, because if I have to give 100 tours to book 30 versus 100 tours to book 70, you see what I'm
You
saying?
remind
I don't.
me, you remind me of someone who was Anna Oliver. She was doing like I think seven, nearly eight figures a year, right? And she came to us, and I was like, why are you here? You have the money, right? But she didn't have the time. Like again, we can have all the money in the world, but if we don't have the time, we will not be able to put ourselves in a position where we can do the things that we truly want to with our family. Because who cares, man, if you're making all the money in the world and you can't spend time with your family, the thing that truly matters the most to you, right? So it's helping you shift the narrative of like we're not playing the numbers game anymore, so we're playing the skills game. You have more efficiency, more consistency, and you have more time. The thing is, though, is like, what if we don't have time, right? Because what if this continues to happen? We keep having to have 100 showings before we get 3 bookings or 10 bookings, as you mentioned. Like this issue continues, and we never get to experience the feeling of what it's like to truly become the Trace who we need to and want to become. What happens then if this just continues to happen?
Well, I mean, knowing me, it's I don't typically, and that's kind of why I'm here. And I'm sure that's why you asked me that question, to remind myself of that and to bring that up. But
Well, that's the thing.
it's
The reason I ask you that question is because do you know the one thing that actually causes humans to want to change?
usually pain, I'm
They
sure.
right. The thing is that most humans don't actually even internalize it. They never say it out loud. They never like to say it out loud. It's like, if I don't do this, this is going to happen. And that's the reason why most humans actually don't even make a change. The thing is, if you actually internalize it of like the pain that it will cause if you do not change, if you continue doing the same things, what does that look like for you though?
Yeah, I mean it's frustrating because it feels like I'm kind of running on a treadmill, and I'm never the kind of person that likes to do that. I like to grow and I like to know that I'm getting better at something. And I've never labeled myself as a salesperson, which is why Jeremy's training and what what you guys focus on, like the questions and the way that you ask it, like it really connected with me.
Yeah. Well, even if you look at seventh level's mission, like what is it? It's to change the way sales is perceived. Because the reason you don't want to label yourself a salesperson is because the way that sales is perceived, right? When someone hears you and like trying to pitch them, it's like what comes to their mind? Oh, it's a salesperson. He's trying to sell me. He's trying to scam me, right? Thing is, we want to change that perspective because is selling something you do to people or for people at the end of the day?
Well, hopefully it's for them, right? I mean, in an ideal situation, that's what I try. Yeah.
What are you doing for your prospects? Like when you actually help them get a wedding venue, you help them with the cost, you help them with everything. What are you doing for them?
Like what do we offer, you mean? Or
Yeah, like what are you doing for them? Once they buy your product, what are you doing
oh yeah.
for them?
Well, immediately it's tough because they usually book out, a year or two. So like immediately not so much, but again, once they get married, we have the venue space, we have amenities, and then we have the bar
Yeah.
service. So we're a licensed winery. So really our focus is like we're a rental space
Yep.
and a bar service. If
There you
that
go.
if that nails it down.
Yeah, well, there you go. So in hindsight, what you're doing is you're giving them the wedding that they've always wanted to, or they're giving them the things that they've always wanted in their life and then allowing them to accomplish that. Same thing here. Like, what
Oh,
would I be doing
oh
for
yeah.
you if I helped you get into a training course where you were earning extra money, you were having more time with your family? Like, what does that do for you?
I see what you're saying. I see. Maybe I missed the point on the other point about what we provide, but that's a
Yeah.
good way to phrase it about how we provide the service for them.
That's the way I like to look at
Um,
it. Because if you look at it from that perspective, what happens? You start doing things for people, not to people, which is the difference that we want to be doing things. Now, are you open to looking at some programs that we have to help you start doing things for people?
yeah, yeah, and I do think to answer the other question too. As
Yeah.
far as what it looks like for me, I think like anybody, it's like I want to know that I'm making the most out of what I'm doing. I
Mm.
want to know that I'm putting the most effort into something, and right now, my hat is primarily focused on booking our season out and that requires sales. Yeah, that requires a good sales skill set. But yeah, I'm definitely willing to look at what you guys have to offer and see how that might align with.
100%. Well, let's have a look. Do you have pen, paper, anything that you could write on?
Yeah, I can
All
definitely
right.
take notes.
Amazing. Good stuff.
Okay.
Cool. If you could write down one thing for me, which is going to be the program that we're going to be going into, which is the NEPQ Pro. If you could write that down.
Pro was the last word.
Yeah, Pro.
Okay.
Exactly. Cool. Once you've written that down, I want you to write down the funding that's going to be required for that program, which is 9,800. If you could write that down too. Once you've written down the
Okay.
fund, I want you to write like an equal sign and write down three outcomes that you want to achieve, like for yourself personally from entering this program. Not only so we can get you there, so we can create a step-by-step plan to get you there and hold you accountable throughout that journey.
Like
Three
the
outcomes.
three outcomes. Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
Like super specific.
Yep, like the way we want to do this is something that is going to matter to you, right? Because I don't want to hold you accountable to making more sales, right? So that's not going to truly keep you in accountable. What I want to hold you accountable to is something that's truly personal to you. For example, like when I did this a year ago when I was going into a program, I had the exact same thing I went through, which is like, okay, put down the three goals. I was like, oh, make more sales, make more money. So no. What do those things allow you to do in your life? As for me, retire my father, do the things that I've always wanted to for myself and my family. So the things that this program will allow you to do in your life. Cool. What was on that sheet of paper, man?
The first one I put is provide for my family. I think that's important. Not necessarily in this order by any means, but focus on growth, in education in my life, and providing great experiences for couples here, which I wrote 40 of them because my
Okay.
goal is to have 40 couples in the season.
Cool. Okay. And just give me a range of what that would come out to yearly, like financially for the business, just so we have like step by steps to get there.
You mean if I booked 40 weddings?
Yeah, if you booked 40, like what would that look like? What would you guys take home revenue from that?
Oh, I'd say I can do some fast math. probably, and maybe just on the low side, probably 280 on the low side, which is about 100 more than we are used to, I would say.
280. Okay, cool, good stuff. All right. Now, with that being said, first step to helping you get to
Gotcha.
yeah.
And what does that look like as far as payment goes? So 9,800
Yeah.
is for
Well, I
the
appreciate
4 month for the course.
well, a year. It's a year access of the training portal as well. So for
Correct.
example, the way it works is like going to the gym. You never get a personal trainer for 12 months. You get them for a certain amount of time, and then you have resources to go back over if you're missing anything, if you're forgetting anything, all that stuff. Right. So it's
Yeah.
really year access of everything where you're kind of deep into the training. Now, in terms of, I appreciate you saying that, by the way, about the looking for investment option, because I don't think you're in a mindset of I don't want to do it or I can't do it. It's more of like, how can I do this? Right. Would that be correct in me saying?
Yeah. I'm kind of at the place where I need some more formal training.
Oh,
And we don't invest in it. And I already told my family that it would be a decent amount. I didn't know what it would be, but
yeah.
I've done this before. I invested over $10,000 in training with
Nice.
my own personal endeavors. In that sense, it wasn't related to sales training or anything. But I'm not like entirely new to training. It's just more so I was wondering what the one-on-one aspect looks like. Because I think
Sure.
for me, kind of like I was saying, I know like coming up with the structure sometimes can be a little challenging, but I do like the simplicity of what you guys talk about.
Yeah.
And I feel like you guys will hopefully be able to help me simplify it and not like, because I'm kind of even overwhelmed with my own script I came up with. But that
Mhm.
was my question, is that I think for me, it's hard. Is there any difference in how we pay or
Well, no. So this is the way that you would do it this way. You can do it. I think they gave you 3, 6, 9, or 12. You can do it over 12.
correct?
And then again, there's no interest, no nothing like that. It's issue zero. So you can pay it over month to month. And if you want to pay it in full, there's no fees, nothing like that. So as most people do, mostly pay it off within that third month.
Okay. So then do I need to process this here now and then we're ready or
Yeah, exactly. So you process it now. I'll get your onboarding details ready. I'll start getting the notes filled out while you're actually processing that. So the coach has like clarity on exactly what you need. And we just go from there, man.
wonderful. Well, I'll get the card and
Okay, perfect.
then give me 1 second.
All good.